Alright guys, we've been doing a lot of videos about travel requirements over to Spain and what exactly you need to get in, and I wanted to give you a little bit of an update. Obviously we know that on June 7th they opened up travel for vaccinated Americans. I put up a video all about my process to try to help you guys out and let you know what to expect along the way. But along the way we've seen some changes. June 24th, now you don't need anything besides that FCS form to get into Spain. So I got my guy here, Francis, who has just come over about a month later. We've got some changes already. I want to give you an update on the process of getting into Spain. So we're going to talk to him a little about his experience and what he needed to get over here. All right, so
sounds good.
Thanks for coming.
No problem.
Can you just tell everybody a little bit about where you flew from and a little bit about the process of what happened?
Absolutely. I flew out of EWR International in Newark International, New Jersey, and the process was pretty straightforward. Surprisingly, I think it was a little bit scary, or I had a little bit of caution in the beginning, but only thing I really needed was my FCS form and my passport and your vaccination card. Those three things is what they ask for when you check in, and that's pretty much it.
All right, so I know when I flew out there, right, the big thing was the vaccination card and also that FCS form. If you guys need to figure out how to fill that out, you can always check out my video that I did. That's how to fill out the FCS form. That'll walk you through all of those processes. Pretty simple, straightforward, about 5 steps, and you're good to go. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But in terms of preparation for your flight, I don't know if you got anything that might be some advice, some suggestions for everybody that's filling out those forms, or if anything else that they needed.
I think it was really beneficial. I actually watched his channel before I came over, so having all of your documentations printed out will make the process go a lot simpler. I would also make sure that you fill out your FCS form 48 hours in advance. Just have it done before you get to the airport. Whether you do it on the way to the airport or 48 hours in advance, it doesn't matter. Just have it done so you can get from point A to point B pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, and like I said, you can check out that video about how to fill it out. I think it is a good idea to have everything done so you have it printed out. That's one of the things that I really think is pretty key. But also, if you need to, all right, some people have said that they might not be able to get their seat number until they do the actual check-in. So if you need to, you can get it done at the airport. I saw a bunch of people doing it while I was there. Did you see anybody filling it out there?
Yeah, that was the, you can do it at the airport, or you can either do it on the plane, I believe. They will offer you a something called the PLDF form. It's very similar, and it'll allow you to actually fill in some of that information. But yes, you can do it at the airport as well.
All right, so just make sure you have that information and you're good to go. In terms of the check-in process, now how did that go? How smooth was it? I know a lot of people, especially at the beginning, we had some kind of just confusion with some of the workers, maybe the people that were going over there. Can you just tell everybody a little bit about how that went for you?
Yeah, pretty seamless as well. Thought it was going to be a lot more of a hassle. I think Patrick mentioned this before, but I had more trouble with whether or not I should keep my laptop in my bag or if I should take it out. But yeah, one question that they had immediately is, where are you going? Second, have your passport ready. Third, have your vaccination card ready. And those two should pretty much get you through the check-in process. They'll give you your boarding pass, and you should be able to move forward.
Okay, so just real quick, they asked you for the vaccination card?
They do. They ask you for your vaccination card, and if you aren't vaccinated, they do ask you for some other form. But obviously I have my vaccination card, so that's what I provided. Okay,
yeah, just so you guys remember that if you're coming from the States as of June 24th, you don't need to be vaccinated. You don't need anything but that FCS form, but obviously there's a lot of different things that they do ask for at different times. So one of the things that I've always been saying is to keep checking, always check to what you need. You can go to travelsafe.spain.info, which is the site that I think is just spectacular. It gives you all the entry requirements that you have, even the return requirements that you might have to get back to wherever you're going. It's got a list of all the different countries, but it's a really good one that you should probably just keep on top of anything that might change, because we've already seen some of those changes as well. The UK, which was on the same list that the States was on when you didn't need any forms, now requires PCR tests and different things. So keep that in mind. Just stay up to date, kind of checking out what the requirements are to get in. So the check-in process was pretty smooth. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people have a lot of kind of worries about. What about your connection flight? So you flew out of Newark,
yep,
and you flew into Portugal before coming to Spain.
I did, yeah.
So what happened there?
The flight was pretty seamless as well. Again, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but they will ask you to fill out a PLF form, and all that is just in case something was to happen on a plane from a COVID perspective. They just have record of where your seating was. It's a little bit of overlap with the FCS, but other than that, I had to fill that out on a plane, or they may ask you to do that prior to it. But as soon as I stopped in Lisbon, they didn't ask for a vaccination card, they didn't ask for any form of COVID test. All I needed to do was just show my boarding pass and where I was connecting to, and just go through security.
Okay, and that's good to know, because I know right now with the limited number of flights coming from the States, a lot of people before getting into Spain are having to go through Lisbon like you did. I know a lot of people have been asking about Paris, maybe Amsterdam, different things like this. So each of those countries might have some different rules. A lot of times with a layover or just like a stop, there's different rules of what you might need to show. But so in Lisbon, they didn't ask for anything before, but what we did have when you get into Barcelona, which was your first point of entry into Spain, that's when you need to have that FCS form.
Yes. Have the FCS form ready and available. They will have a line where they're directing you to have it out, and they will scan it as well. So as long as you have that filled out and ready, paper form, or you could have it electronically, it's fine. Once you show that, you can enter Spain and you'll be fine.
Like I said before, one of the things I recommend is just having it printed out. I saw it on a webpage the other day as well, like just in case. You can have it on your phone, but if your phone dies for whatever reason, it's just a lot easier to have that piece of paper printed out. When I went through it, they do have those visual checks, the temperature checks, but that's all just kind of like automated at this point. And then they kind of either scan your code or look at any dates or anything like that.
That's interesting. They didn't have the scanning part for the temperature this time.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of, for me at least, it was there, but nobody really noticed it. I think they just tell you if you're being scanned, right? But it's not like you go up to it. It's a camera that's in the back.
Gotcha.
That's kind of like looking, but it's not like an actual stop.
I didn't pay attention, so they probably did have it.
Okay, so once you got in, pretty seamless as well. And like I said, if you have that paper, it's you're good to go. What about kind of the rest of your plans? So you're in Barcelona right now. Are you planning on going anywhere else in Spain and in Europe? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I'll be in Barcelona for the next 2 days at this point, exploring everything the country has to offer. From there, I will be heading to Italy, and then I will be heading to Portugal after a pit stop in Italy.
Okay, and a lot of people have asked me specifically, you know, from Spain or from another country in Europe, like going and traveling between them. So is there anything that you needed to do for your trip to Italy, for your trip to Portugal?
Yeah, basically I had to take the same approach that I took to get into Spain, but this time I believe you need to have either one of 3 of the requirements that they offer, which is you either have to show recovery from COVID, you either need to have, you have taken an antigen test or some type of test prior 48 hours, or you can have your vaccination card. So I will be actually showing my vaccination card, and they actually have you list that on the FCS form that you will need to fill out. Actually, it's called the Europe Digital Pass. They will have you fill that out in advance, and they'll have you select which one of those will you provide. Once you select that, that is what you will have to show once you get to Italy.
Okay. And so that's one of the things that you need to keep in mind. I think anybody that been a lot of questions about going to different places, you also need to look not only at Spain info or just kind of the things to get into Spain, but also if you plan on going to other places as well, you always want to check and remember things are changing all the time. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you don't have to deal with any issues, but constantly changing.
All the time. Yeah, just keep reading and stay up to date.
Exactly. Now, you're doing some filming while you're around here. You started up a YouTube channel.
I am.
Tell everybody where we can find you.
Hey, you guys can find me at Bandana Fran. I am very new to YouTube, but at the same time, I want to provide some insight into what I'm doing and what I'm exploring, and hopefully it can serve as a purpose or benefit to you when you're coming to either Spain, Italy, or wherever you're traveling to.
Awesome. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna leave the link for his channel, for Bandana Fran, right down in the description. You can link over to that. You can kind of see, I don't know, travels through Portugal, through Italy, Barcelona as well. You might recognize somebody in one of those videos in the future, but definitely check that out so you guys can see a little bit more of some ideas of moving around. I know here what we're focusing on more is Spain, Barcelona, traveling around and to Spain, but then if you guys have any questions about going over and some activities that you can do in other places, that's a guy to check out.
I'm your guy.
All right, you guys. Well, Francis, thank you for joining me. Thanks for helping everybody out. Hopefully that did give you guys a good idea of kind of the new restrictions, the new requirements, and how the process is going right now. If you do have any questions, remember you leave those in a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.